I'm going to preface this discussion about technology by saying it's always a loaded topic because, as I'm recording this, something new's come out, something's changed, but you'll kind of get the gist of what we're talking about. So, not only from a vendor and exhibitor standpoint, but also from a customer experience in the meeting thing, we're talking about virtual reality. And so now it becomes this almost like a one-up competition to see what you can do to be better than somebody else when it comes to technology. But the virtual tour, listen, we would like to do that as meeting planners for our sites, our amenities, our view. I mean, I can tell you from the hotel standpoint, you probably know better than I do that it's possible now to go online and look and see what the view is from your hotel room before you ever step foot in the place or before you even get on a plane to go to the hotel. So, again, online RFPs, some people don't want to deal with that. Some people don't want to come because of that technology. They already know what they're looking at. I always caution, and you'll see this a lot with hotel courses and other products that you do, with the right photographer, anything can look great. So it's just something to look at. There's some portals and stuff you can look at there as well. So marketing and communication, I'm not going to point out specific websites to you here, but, search wedding event planners in South Florida, or, organizational meeting planners in South Florida, whatever you want to look for title-wise, and you'll get to see these websites. And it used to be that there's a lot of word of mouth and nobody really cared, and now it is a lot of this stuff can be done before you step foot into the facility or before you set up your first meeting with the planners. And you've got the 5 W's there. Very, very important. Mobile websites like we talked about. So bells and whistles are important. We get a lot of information there, and no one wants to hear that you weren't selected as a finalist or a potential contender based on the website. And you may go, oh, you didn't meet me, you didn't know how good my service was and the food I offer and the things that we can do. Yeah, because they went to your website and it was clunky, or it had nothing on it, or it seemed like it was built 10 years ago. So those are things that need to constantly be updated. And as I said, as much information as you can get on there, let's just be quite honest. Let's filter out the folks, and we've talked about this many times before. If we know there's something we can't do, let's make that pretty clear on the website, whether it is party size or types of service or whatever it is, so that we don't waste anyone's time. Listen, and frankly, including our own. eBlast, yeah, again, I won't talk too much about eBlast because I don't love eBlast, but some people do it. So that is completely up to you. I don't talk a lot of it because I don't like it. Room design software, beautiful way for us to show exactly what you're getting. Beautiful way for us to control layout. Again, and when it says you can post it on the web, there are certain websites that say, here's the space, here's the stuff we offer, play around with what you think you want this room to look like, and let's take a look. But I think more importantly, us to give a visual representation to the consumer, the guest, the client, this is what we think works best. And your head table should be here. Or for your mixer, we're going to put the tables over here. And I know you're kind of going, why are you doing that? Well, there's a reason that we do it this way, and it's because of this. But we can see it. If you can take pictures, like I know a lot of not famous, but I guess the more established meeting places will have a bunch of pictures. I mean, I used to do, for weddings, we used to have a photo album back before technology was a big thing. And we just let the client look through the photo album and say, just like that. Or not like that. In a lot of cases that was true. But we knew. And we could go back and say, they look at picture 17. Picture 17 was the Johnson wedding 3 years ago. And the Johnson wedding was blah, blah. And we can pull up the sheet. Okay, we can pull up the BEO. We can pull up the RFP and everything else and say, Perfect. We're doing the Johnson wedding again. And I know that makes it sound impersonal. That's the business, right? So we understand that. Online registration, nowadays, it's expected. And so a couple of days out, we can send out reminders of, hey, don't forget, we have you coming on the 14th. And, remember the night of the 14th, there's going to be this mixer at the blah, blah, blah. And we're also going to do, lunch that day if you're here in time in the grand ballroom. So that helps. If it's possible, and as I said before, as much as I can get a client to go paperless, that's what I want to do. If at all possible, that is the route I want to take. Now, social media, when we put this up here, just like with any other book that's written, when you look at these options, which ones do you go, nobody uses those anymore? It is very important for you to have a presence. Because people can search not only the internet, but they can go online and, pull up, hey, I want to look up FAU catering on Instagram. Or, JB Ward's special events on Instagram. And they'll start to do that. YouTube's a great place for you to put, with, of course, your client's permission, a couple of little short snippets about what you do. And if it's possible, testimonials, things like that. That's a great idea. Remember on videos, and this is a great example if you're still listening to these, attention span of your audience. You've probably looked online on our website, if you haven't, at some of our employee partner videos. We realize quickly that the span of time for those needs to be about 4 minutes or less. So it's important to be informative, eye-catching, and appealing pretty quickly. And of course, LinkedIn Professional. Now, some other things that can be there if you want to do it, and by you, I mean the client, and also, if you have the technology to do it. Does somebody want to live stream their wedding? It's weird, but it's happened. But maybe more importantly, not everybody could attend the annual sales conference. And for whatever reason, weather or cost, but it was an important conference to have, so we live stream it. So you being responsible, like we talked about with audio, visual, and lighting and everything else, your responsibility is to make sure that that's possible for the client to do that. Hashtagging, podcasting, a bunch of things. Just basically to tell you that the sky's the limit, as long as you can handle it and it meets the guest needs. Okay, you can't, again, not over our skis. So just a bunch of tools you can use. Look, you can take Office and create any of the forms that you want. You can take PowerPoint and create floor plans. You can do it. Just the more in depth you get, the more you may want to spend money on better software. But we had PowerPoint at one point. We thought that was the greatest thing in the world for doing floor plans. Still pretty effective. It's not the best, but it's not bad. So you can look all those up if you're interested to see what those things do. This is probably where, and it's gotten a lot better, the first thing people want to know when they walk into an event is, what's the password? Where's the internet? What's the password? Okay, and why can't I get on this? And why am I having a long time? Why is it so damn slow? And blah, 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 blah. So that becomes an important thing. And, I even tell my children this, and one of them is very young. We expect it. We expect to have Wi-Fi everywhere we go. We expect it to be free. We expect it to be very, very simple to connect and use. That is who we as consumers are right now. And think about, you go to this event and you're one of 500 people. Still doesn't mean, even though you've paid for nothing at this event, you're just attending it, that you're not going to complain about the internet. So again, how that all sets up, what you're going to use, what's the password for our conference for the next 3 days, or the next week, or tonight, or whatever it's going to be. So that's important. It's important for you to have it separate for yourself as an organization and an operation as well. This we don't have to get into too much. Just know that, digital recording is going to require more drones. You're going to have to look at the logistics of doing that if you're allowed to do it your location to an airport, blah, 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 blah. Whatever the case may be. A lot of people want this. I have a friend who is a professional drone photographer in his spare time. And it's a gorgeous way to do an event. A golf tournament, flyovers of the course, wedding. You can fly up from the 18th green and overlook the clubhouse and say, who wouldn't want to have their wedding? It's a great way to sell the facility. But, professionally, we would hope it's done professionally, not somebody over there like, oh, I've never done it before. So, those things require certain things. But hey, look, if it's an option and you're good at it, or you know somebody who is, you can contract out like, hey, I just want to show you real quick, our friend, Johnny's Drones, and they take pictures of your wedding, and check out this one video montage they did for a client. It was only $6,000, whatever the case may be. Again, just a little bit more about interaction and communications really is going to be what you want to do. So, whatever you want to call these things, response system, speaker interaction, there's the old thing of people walking around with a microphone, a wireless microphone, and I still think that works really well. If you don't have that, it's like, I'm sorry, what? I couldn't hear. What did you say? In the back. You had a question, but I can't hear it. You don't want to have that going on, right? So as much as you can, Bluetooth technology, in the old days of setting up things in rooms, what we don't want to have is somebody fiddling around for 25 minutes trying to get their laptop to project onto the projector. So technology's improved a lot about that. SurveyMonkey's probably still the gold standard for a lot of things, but an online survey that you put together, just like we talked about attention span with videos, online surveys need to be short and to the point. And if somebody wants to make comments, believe me, they will. But don't make it, oh, could you just fill out this quick 75-question survey about our event? You're not going to get a lot of responses. And the key for us is to get responses. And listen, some of those may not be good, but it's information we can build on for the next time we hold this event. Not becomes the person who hosts the event, and also becomes the person who is putting on the event as the event planner. We want to know how everything goes. Virtual attendance, do you charge? How do you deliver the content? All that good stuff. We talked about virtual reality, augmented reality, Pokemon Go. That just seems so dated now, but it really wasn't that long ago. This is going to continue to evolve. So it's, again, as this book is being written, you're going to sit there and go, oh my God, Pokemon Go, you sound like a dinosaur. In the grand scheme of things, it wasn't that long ago, which is crazy. AI to me, is just insane. The amount of videos, pictures, posts, and comments, everything you want to do. Like, I've gone to a lot of meetings that allow live chatting through like Twitter and stuff, and you're up on the screen, you're seeing people post, emojis and comments about everything, and it's really cool to see it in real time. And logistically, it's a huge pain in the backside to make that happen. But now we expect it. It's a great interactive thing, and we're trying to reach a wide audience. And I don't want to say the kids, because you're not kids, but that's a different thing than when I used to go to meetings. It wasn't even something we even thought would be possible. Hybrid meetings, webinars, we talk about this a lot. And I'm going to give you an example of technology that was used recently. When I worked at a previous institution with athletics, every year we got together and voted on legislative issues for the athletes and for all the schools. And they would conduct straw polls in every separate meeting before, at the end of the session, the 5 days, we voted on these laws every year. So by going into straw polls in these individual smaller meetings and using Kahoot, which probably most of you are familiar with, if not, it's a pretty cool little tool, we were able to get a picture of how we thought those votes were going to go before we ever took them. So going into the actual vote that counted, we kind of knew, like, this isn't going to pass. This has a good chance of passing. We're kind of on the fence about this. Did it affect the outcome of the election? I mean, in the grand scheme of things, it didn't, but it gave us an idea going into it how our customers were feeling about the issues. So, and again, having the technology to do Kahoot in a room full of 150 people, 4 different rooms at the same time, is something that's relatively new, but it's really amazing what you can do.